Hello, welcome to Math Success Seminar Online. I'm going to talk about percents and how this equation works. So, what is a percent? How does it relate to decimals? How does it relate to fractions? Well, let's start with 90%. So a percent symbol is kind of this funny looking like two dots and a slash through them, which I always remember as it's kind of a funny 100 because what percent really means is whatever amount it's talking about is going to be over 100. So if it's 90%, then it's 90 out of 100. If it's 170%, then it's 170 out of 100. So to change from this to a fraction, all you have to do is reduce this part. Whatever it is out of 100, and now we basically cut that down. They both share a 0, meaning they both share 10. So 9 out of 10. Boom. So 90% is the same as 9 out of 10. So now switching from 9 out of 10 to a decimal means you're going to do 9 divided by 10. So how many times does 9 go into 10? Make some room here now that we know the answer to that. Well, it can't. So we add a 0 to it. Since this was 9 in the beginning, we have to put a decimal place here, meaning there's a decimal place right here. So how many times can 10 go into 90? It can go into it 9 times. So 9 over 10 is the same as saying 0.9. So this is just a quick how to do method, like how to switch from percent to a fraction, how to switch from a fraction to a decimal. I'll go into more examples of that later on, but onto this formula. A percent is always out of 100. So we have percent out of 100 equals an amount over a base. Sometimes this is referred to as the part, and this is referred to as the whole. And the wording is very, very specific. Is and of. So in a sentence, they're going to say something like, what is 10% of 90? So how do we change this into that? Well, we have to break it down piece by piece. What is 10% of 90? So what is, meaning we don't know what is. I'm just going to copy this formula down. 10%, that tells me that the 10 goes here where the percent would normally go. Of 90, of meaning it's the base or the whole. So 90 goes right here, and then what is, we don't know what the is amount is, so this is our variable. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is called cross multiplying. Cross multiplying only works if there's an equal sign in between. And basically what you're doing is you're getting rid of both denominators at the same time. You have to multiply 90 up here to the top, and you have to multiply 100 over here. So what this is going to look like is 10 times 90 equals 100 times x. So remember the crisscross, just you're taking whatever's here and you're moving it diagonally up. Taking here, move it diagonally up. But now we can solve the problem. We can carry it out a little bit. 10 times 90 is 900. 100x. So now what do we need to do to get x by itself? Well, it's 100 times x, so we have to use division to break that relationship between them. They're both being multiplied, and division gets rid of that. So this way 100 cancels out, and then 0, 0 cancels out. We're going to have 9 over 1 equals x, which is just 9. So this is just a quick tutorial on how to use the is of percent. I'll do one more where it's not so obvious. Let's do 20% of what is 10. So before setting up our equation, we have to think about where to put the numbers or how to identify the numbers. 20%, this has the percent symbol on it. So this is our percent of what? Of meaning this is the base. And it's always like that. That of is always going to hang on. Is 10. Is mean it is the amount. So percent up here turns into 20. Is 10, meaning this amount is 10. And we don't know what the base is, so I'm just going to keep this as B. So 20% goes in the percent position. Of what we don't know is 10. Is goes in the numerator on the other side. And now the way that we deal with this is you always cross multiply. It doesn't matter where the variable is. It doesn't matter how the numbers are situated because it always works out. So you want to carefully place each of these and now multiply these up. 20 times B, 100 times 10. So this is 20B equals 1,000 because 10 100s makes 1,000. And now how do we solve for B? We have to divide 20 off. If you forget when to divide, you usually save it for last. You want to get this piece alone by itself and then you divide. So these zeros cancel out. 100 divided by 2 is 50. So meaning the base or the whole part was 50. But this is a brief example and more of just a reminder. And I'll probably cover more percent things as we go forward. But hopefully I'll catch you next time and have a good one.